All right, I'm getting back to my guide here. All right, so now I'm going to scroll up to the top of the guide to where it says HTML creating our shapes. So I'm going to go up here. And we're just going to start from the top. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that if you guys get lost or if you miss something and you want to catch up, you can just kind of copy and paste the code that you missed. And then if you have any questions or anything like that, you can always ask them during the class or during the Q&A session. All right, so starting here. So here I suggested creating card.html. You could do that too. All right, I'm in my index.html. And what you see here is an empty HTML document. And for those who don't know HTML, this thing called a head here is called a head element. And this is called a body element. And in between these start and end tags, they're called, you can write code. So in here, you would write the instructions to the browser, that like commands to the browser to do things that the user don't see. It doesn't see those commands, but the browser can process those commands. And the body is kind of where you put things where the user sees. So for now, let's just in the body, just type hello, just make sure everyone's code is working. And once it's saved, here you can see it's saved, you should see the word hello here. So you just built your first web page this way. Any questions? Anyone have troubles with that? Okay, I guess we're good. All right. Now in the notes, there is this special command, this meta name here. Actually, I'm going to copy this whole thing here from the notes here, so you see my comments. This is really critical here, because this just tells your browser to say if the person's on a mobile device, scale a pixel to be a fixed amount across the width of the device. This way the site doesn't look really small and tiny on Retina displays, because cell phones have very, very high resolution. So this kind of controls the resolution for you. And if you want to see what your project looks like while you are coding it, you can click this QR code, which I'm going to do right now, because I really want to be able to see my card on the mobile phone, because I think it's more fun to send someone a link on like iMessage or something, so they can see their card on their phone. So we want to make sure it looks good on the phone. So I'm just going to scan that QR code. Whoops, took a picture of the QR code. All right, then I have my website there. So if I hit close, go back into the body element, I type hello. Once it says saved, I have my browser on my phone, I can hit refresh. And I don't know if you see that, but it says hello. Okay, so now I can test things on my phone as I code. All right, so very first step is to create an element for each of the shapes we want. So, well, the first element we're going to create is a div with, we're going to call it an envelope. This ID just kind of names our element. And I want to put, this is kind of where I'm going to put my envelope together. So I write that. And then inside my envelope, I'm going to create a div, an element for every single piece of this project, so that I can piece those pieces together however I want in CSS. So I'm just going to type this up. So I have my back of my envelope, I have the front of my envelope, I have the top of my envelope, and I have the letter I want to send. And then I have my button. So I'm going to write a button here. So last workshop, I taught you all sorts of different HTML tags, which is important when you're building like a website to show users data and information. But when you're using a website to create art, it's better just to have a div with IDs, because there's no special tag for the top of an envelope. That's something we're making up. All right, and just to show you that what we did is there, we can put back here, we can put inside here text, just to show that we have this something here, like click here. Okay, so you can see here, there's my elements. I see them. They're not too interesting. I see them on my phone. We're good. All right. Everything good? All's good. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is learn some SVG. So we can make this word, we can remove this word back and actually replace it with something that looks like this. Okay. All right. So, you know, for SVG, it might be best for just to copy this first one, because it's more of a boilerplate code. And there's a lot of code on the web for all sorts of different shapes that you can just copy and paste and then make your own. And I'll walk you through what these different pieces are. So I'm going to delete my comments here. That was just to let you know what these are doing. This is just telling the browser that we're using the year 2000 definition of SVG. And some browsers require it. Delete the notes there. This is just telling us that the width and the height of our shape is going to be 300 by 300 pixels. So that was this is our coordinate system space we're working with. So I'm gonna kind of, that's all, everything that goes into that start tag. These things are called attributes. So we have 4 attributes here. And then we have our polygon, which we have a points attribute and some attributes about its style. So if I delete all that, if you delete all the comments, you'll see it work. And you can see now I have a purple rectangle. Okay. So how is this purple rectangle created? Well, here's that first point. X is 0, Y is 100. So that's this point, right? The upper left-hand corner of that point. I guess you're not seeing my notes. So let me show you that. So 0, 100's here. 0, 100, space. To tell the browser I'm entering a second point, 300, 100. So I'm going clockwise, 300, 100, 300, 300, and then 0, 300. And the browser is smart enough to know to connect the 4th point with the 1st point. So you don't have to worry about that. So in SVG, there's actually an easier way to create a rectangle. There's actually a rectangle element you can use. But I really want you guys to get familiar with the polygon because it's more powerful and we need it for our next shape. But here you can start changing the fill color. So let's say I wanted a different fill color than this. Well, if you know the color codes, then you can just type that in, but I don't know the color codes. I'm gonna go here to inspect element. And the browser opens up this page for me that kind of shows me what's going on. And this is a great tool, this DevTools it's called, where I can do some little experiments and things. And today I'm gonna do this experiment with the color. So down here, you should see like this circle here. If you're using Firefox, I think it's a square and Chrome, you can click it. And you can, comes up with a color picker. So you can choose your own color. So say I wanted it to be a little more blue. I say, I like that color. You can then go over here, copy that code, replace it here. If I close that, then it will be blue. So I'll show you that again as we pick more colors for different things. So if you didn't get it that time, I'll show you next time. All right, so we have our first shape. So now I'm going to do our second shape. So I'm just going to copy this because it's a good template for drawing our polygons. Paste it here. And as you see, I'm trying to make my code what's called pretty. I'm trying to get rid of unnecessary space. If something is inside another element, I'm trying to make sure it's indented. So if you kind of don't things have indented right, you can select all the lines of code and you can hit Shift Tab or Tab to move things around. So Shift Tab and Tab. And I can show you that again too if you need me to, but you'll see me do that. All right, so our next goal is to describe our front, which has a 5th point. So if I go to the front, it has this 5th point. Everything else is the same, but I have this 5th point. So, well, it's actually the 2nd point. So I'm going to add a new point after 0, 100. It's 150 minus 200, space. And voila, I have another point. And you guys can have fun with this. If you want to add more points, you can add like 0, 0 here. And you can see some funky behavior. So you can define any shape you want that's a polygon shape just by listing these points. You can also do curves in SVG. And the math behind that is a little more complicated than just points. So, but just be aware you can actually define any 2D shape you'd like. It doesn't have to be polygons. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna change my front of my envelope to be lighter blue. So I'm gonna go inspect. Again, click here, and I'm gonna pick a lighter blue shade. That one looks nice. I'm happy with that. Okay. Then there's these other things, the stroke and stroke width. So stroke is just the term for the outline, the border of the shape. So you can actually add another color for that. So let's say I wanted that dark color for the stroke. I can replace none with that dark color and give it a width, like maybe 3 pixels. Okay, it's saving. All right, did I just mess something up? Stroke with 3 pixels. Why is it dark blue? I didn't save my light blue from here. I just did it in Chrome or in the dev tools. So let me go back, get this here, make it light blue. Maybe I'll make it like that color blue. Copy that. And paste. All right. So now it should remember it. But now you see I have a nice dark blue here, and I have a border around my my envelope. All right, I'll stop here. Any questions? Maybe I'll give you some time to work on the colors while I ask questions. What's the difference between tag names, some words? Oh, okay, that's a great question, Jiaoming. So you can see here polygon. Polygon here doesn't have a, I could have wrote it like this and added an in tag for polygon. So I could have wrote it like this, I should say. So the question is, what's the difference between doing it this way and this way? Well, in normal HTML, when you're outside the SVG, you need to always have, except in a very few cases, you always need to have a start tag and an end tag. You always need to have this and this, about 90% of the cases. However, in SVG, you have a choice. If this polygon has no children, like we don't have anything inside our polygon, then we can just write it as shorthand with a slash here. So we don't have to write that in tag. It's really just a shorthand, that's all. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes to just pick on your colors. So So maybe 4:43, we'll get started again. And just ask questions if you have them. I'm gonna work on my colors too. I want to do a different stroke color. Maybe I'll make it purple. Oh, I like that purple. Bright. Maybe a little lighter purple. Yes, that's exactly right, Xiaoming. And you'll see that later today, later in the class. So we're actually going to put some children in our polygon to animate it. All right, I like that color better. All right. It's up to you, Jiaming. You can use the inspector or change the code. You can also Google color picker and use it to and use a Google color picker to find the color you like. All right. Yeah, 30 more seconds to play with your colors. Then we'll move to the next shape. All right, thanks, Yasser. All right, so moving on, we're just gonna do our triangles now. Same thing, we're copying our code, putting it in between the top. And now we just have 3 points because a triangle is just 3 points. So we can look at our notes. I'm gonna start with just the closed 3 points. And then when we do the animation, we'll do the open. So let's just do the closed. So I'm just gonna do this clockwise again. So 0, 100, 300, 100, and then this is the third point. So it's actually just rearranging these 3 points, I think. 150, 200, yeah. So I go to 0, 100, 300, 100, down to 150, 200. And voila, there's my triangle. All right, now it looks like a bikini or something until we piece it together. All right, next, let's put together our letter now. And you know, my letter's gonna say like, I'm gonna put like a message and use the H1 element to make my text somewhat big. And I'm gonna say to my friend. I'm gonna put a little image in here. I think I have from my notes some image I like to use. You guys, I can show you what to do with the image, how to find your own images, and then H2 from me or from yours truly. Okay. And now I have my little image here, but it's broken because I guess I haven't copied over that happy birthday GIF. So I'm gonna find a new one. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna open a new tab here. I'm just gonna do an image search for a happy birthday GIF. Okay, so there's lots of stuff on the internet you can use. You can go over to the image tab. Oh, I want to dance some cupcake. Okay. Oh, he's not dancing though. Maybe a cat one. See. Okay, I like that one. What I'm gonna do here now is I want to grab this image. So I'm gonna download this image. So save image as. I'm gonna click that. Might have something different in Chrome. Might be like download image or something else, but it should be there. I'm gonna put it in my downloads. Okay. And I'm gonna go back here to my folder, magic envelope folder, and I'm gonna create a new, I'm gonna do a file upload. I'm going to add that image to my coding space. Let's go to the downloads. I'm going to rename it. Called it Happy B-Day GIF. Rename it. Put it in there. It uploads. So it's there. You can see it working. There's my GIF. And then, all right. So now I just have to hit a space or something to refresh here. All right, there's my GIF. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys maybe another 3 minutes to find an image and let me know if you have any issues. Just find a fun, cute little image you like to use.